Juggler is flying late. Sprint by wins the Doncaster. You couldn't have written the script any better than that. And Merlin is going to score a magnificent win in the slipper.
G'day folks, thank you for joining us. This is The Racing Show on a beautiful Sunday in Sydney. And gee, we've got a jam-packed program coming up. We're going to review Nothing Like a Dane's European maiden voyage overnight at Deauville in France. We'll have all the highlights from Manikato Stakes Day in Melbourne. We'll have a look at the welcome return to race riding of champion jockey Wayne Harris here at Rosehill Gardens. And the bloke who inherited the wind at Moonee Valley yesterday, Simon O'Donnell. Didn't it blow?
I can tell you what, it was a very blowy day at Moonee Valley yesterday. A great day's racing, but very blowy. And if I had that wind anywhere else, I wouldn't be married, I can assure you of that.
I can understand that. Well, Shane Dye mentioned on this program a few weeks back that he was not really a fan of Sunday racing and that he didn't intend to ride at all of the Sunday meetings. Well, he must think he's got some prospects out there today at Royal Randwick. I think he's got about 5 rides and he joins us live. What's the scene at Royal Randwick, Shane?
It's a beautiful day here, John. The track's good, the rail's out 9 metres. It's just perfect. But the trouble is it's not a very big crowd because the Swans are playing next door today.
OK. Shane, overnight at a place called Deauville, which I'm told is a lovely seaside environment in France, Nothing Like a Dane made his European debut in a race called the Prix Gontour Biron, Group 3, 2,000 metres, and there he is with Cash Asmussen on board, wearing those famous tartan colours with the black band. At Barrier Rise, he was actually the first out, but it was obvious that Cash Asmussen didn't want to lead, and typical of European middle-distance races, Shane, they just dropped over their withers and they cantered.
Yeah, if people don't know, Cash is one of the best riders in Europe. He's very, very good. He's from America. He's a fantastic rider. But this horse, Nothing Like a Dane, needs a lot of pace on, and if it was a slow-run race, it probably wouldn't have suited him, John. A sprint home, it just doesn't suit him. It never has.
Well, they got going from the 500 metres and he was immediately off the bit. But watch him closely here because he does not lose any further ground. He's trying his heart out. Lord of Men, by the way, is the leader in Sheikh Mohammed's colours, and he goes on to win the race. He's a previous Group 1 winner, by the way, in France. Now, look at Nothing Like a Dane stretching out in the last bit. He finishes only 2 lengths from the winner, but there is a very significant thing that I've got to point out about Nothing Like a Dane. Not once did he swish his tail. Something that had become his trademark in all of his runs in Australia. Not a semblance of a tail swish. Now, there's got to be a message in that.
Yeah, there just could be a message in it. But look, I don't think you can be disappointed with that run. And he's going to get better over a bit more ground. He's in a completely new environment. That's his first step out. We've got to give him a chance, I think.
How did you see it, Shane?
Well, that's his first run, and there's no doubt he would have needed it. Now you've got to look for the improvement, because in Europe they work their horses very long and very hard. So you'd want to see him do something next start now, but you couldn't be disappointed in that run as yet.
Good on you. Hear that, Helen Dalton? Don't be disappointed. OK, Manikato Stakes, Group 1 at Moonee Valley. Let's pick up the action. Commentary by John Russell.
Line good. And they're off. Great start. Poetic King jumped out well, quickly headed by Apple Danish, beginning very quickly also as Painter. And Spartacus up there on the outside, going into a forward position, being followed closely by Guineasa. A bit further back, Cut Up Rough on the outside of Poetic King, followed by Tarn Perlana. Blazing Reality's got well back in the field with Sir Boom and Seasky on the inside last of all. Down towards the 800-metre mark and Paint the leader. A length in advance of Spartacus, a length and a half. Apple Danish, a half to Guineas, moving up on the outside. 2 lengths further back, Poetic King on the inside of Brackenbury, being followed by Cut Up Rough. A length and a half further back then came Blazing Reality, followed by Sir Boom, Tarn Perlane and Seasky. Down the side, 500 metres out. Paint the leader by a neck on Spartacus. A length and a half further back, Apple Danish. Poetic King going up along the inside. Guineas has caught 3 deep, followed by Cut Up Rough, and behind them Tarn Perlane. Hard-ridden Brackenbury. Blazing Reality's a long way back with Seasky and Sir Boom as they're making the home turn. It's Spartacus. Spartacus has moved up on the outside to hit the front of the top of the straight. He's going well. 200 metres left to go. Poetic King is now in hot pursuit down the outside. Guineas struggling behind them. Cut Up Rough running on. Spartacus, the leader. Poetic King trying to get to him. Spartacus, the leader, with 100 metres left to go, is holding Poetic King and Spartacus. Spartacus wins the Manikato well. Second home, Poetic King. Third, Cut Up Rough, followed by Guineas and Seas.
And significantly, the first Group 1 of the season goes to Darren Beedman.
Yeah, it certainly does. He rode the horse perfectly yesterday. Paint was the horse making the early speed, but Spartacus, he's such a big, strong animal. He dwarfed some of those sprinters yesterday. And look, there was some good runs in the race, but all in all, I think Spartacus deserved his win. After the race, I caught up with the winners also, and that was Rick Hore-Lacey and Darren Beedman.
Just a great win today. Was there any, I suppose, butterflies with what happened in the missile with Guineas running you down?
Yes, he wasn't quite fit. I'd been working him up the Gold Coast, and they do their best up there, but the training facilities aren't perhaps all they could be, and I just had to hold him together all the time. I was frightened he might break down on the training tracks up there.
Did you expect Paint to really go through there like a gunshot and not let you lead as easy as what everyone thought you were going to?
No, we had no intention of leading because we didn't want to go onto the fence. No, it panned out exactly as we thought it would. Paint would lead, we'd be outside it, and Guineas just behind us. The instruction was, as soon as Paint drops off, kick him to the front and then make the others chase.
Not a bad ride from the fella in the pigskin for you?
No, he's got a bit of help too.
Obviously no hard luck stories after that, Darren.
No, mate, he's a pretty easy horse to ride. He just, you know, he's just really a passenger on the horse. He takes himself into the race and, you know, he finds strongly when you go for him.
When do you think the race was yours?
When he changed stride with about 100 metres to go, I could hear the other horses coming down the outside and he was sort of labouring a little bit, and when he changed stride, he really started to plough into the ground and held them comfortably.
You wouldn't say Rick Hore-Lacey was overly happy with the Gold Coast, but a good win from Spartacus yesterday. Unfortunately, in these big races, there's got to be losers, and we caught up with them after the race. The first was Damien Oliver.
Damien Poetic King looked like he was going to do it again.
Yeah, it was an excellent run, Simon. He improved half a length on Spartacus just after we straightened. I thought, oh, we've got him here, and Spartacus just slipped into another gear and got away from us, but, you know, he was brave in defeat. Steve,
Cut Up Rough, a great run in the Manikato.
Yeah, Simon, he ran really well. I mean, the way the race was run, it sort of it suited him to get home like he did, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to ride him in the future.
Think a little bit more ground's even going to suit him?
He's definitely better suited at 1400, so, you know, he's probably looking at races like the Vic Health, which is a nice race for him, and there's no Stantleys around this year.
Brazing Reality, not one of his better days, Danny?
No, you can say that for sure, but no, there's excuses and good excuses for him too. He even going to the gates, although the horse wasn't sore at all, but I could feel the jar coming up through his legs, you know, carrying to the gates. He's normally pretty free going to the gates all the time, and he hit the ground. He only travelled for probably 150 metres, and I was asking him around the first bend, actually asking for an effort, then he wasn't going, his action wasn't right, and he just plainly jarred up on the straight.
It's a tricky circuit here at Moonee Valley. Would that be the reason he probably didn't run as well as you would have liked?
I don't think so, Simon. I thought the horse ran particularly well. He might have got a touch lost, but the winner was just much too good on the day. You know, he looked much better today, and he was just too good for us.
Yes, that was hearing from the losers. And Shane, you've been on Spartacus before. It wouldn't have surprised you at all yesterday.
No, he's a far better horse that way round, Simon. I read today he's the best sprinter in Australia. He's the best sprinter around Caulfield or Moonee Valley. He's definitely not the best sprinter at Flemington because he gets lost, and he gets lost Sydney way of going. But he's nearly unbeatable in 1,000 metres or 1,200 metre races around Caulfield and Moonee Valley, and that's about it.
Another interesting race at the Valley yesterday, Simon, was a listed 3-year-old race of 1,000 metres in which the boom youngster Danajaya made his return to racing, and he gave up quickly. Any problem?
Yeah, I don't think any problem. He might have got lost. It was only his second start, so you can make excuses for him. But I just noticed yesterday he had a fair bit of gear on. I think it was a crossover noseband, and he might be a horse that thinks a little bit.
Yeah, I've jumped the gun, actually, mate. We want to talk about Be Discreet, firstly, in an earlier race. The
well, it was a ripper run.
She is in the pale green colours on the outside of Boo Ree as they turn into the straight, and watch her shoot clear as they turn for home. She's got a wonderful record. Rose of Danehill about 5th in bright pink sleeves, pink cap. Found it a bit sharp, did she?
Yeah, found it a little bit sharp. I think everyone expected a little more from her. The run of the race definitely smidgen running second, a filly by snippets, but Be Discreet, look, she was race fit, she was hard for that yesterday, and she really showed that, you know, there's a bit of ability there. I think she may be coming to the end of her preparation too. I don't know whether we're going to see a lot more of her this spring.
Let's have a look at Danajaya leading around the home turn in the blue colours and watch the Graham Begg train Dance Beat go right on with the job to win this listed 3-year-old event.
As they straighten up, Danajaya tackled and headed very quickly by Dance Beat, who's come at it very strongly down the outside. It hits the front. It's a Dane running on well. Danajaya won't get a place. Dance Beat the leader. Bradman finishing fast on the inside and deeper on the track. It's a Dane, but Dance Beat too good, wins it well. Dance Beat wins it from Bradman. Third home is It's a Dane.
The best sport and racing. There's only one radio station that delivers. Canberra's Good Sports 103.9 Triple S FM. Join the Good Sports each weekday morning from 6 and start your day with the right mix of sport, talk, music and fun. If you want that winning feeling, be part of the National Racing and Sporting Services 103.9 Triple S FM takes you racing across Australia from midday, where you won't miss a thing. The best sport and racing on Canberra's Good Sports 103.9 Triple S FM.
Off and running in the Premier. A good start. West Point wide out has been bustled out of the gate and is vying for the early lead with Unison, who's doing a power of work from the outside alley. Headstrong is away quickly. Stork is showing good pace, followed by Dashing Eagle, and then King Ivor, Flak Jacket, and dropping out last, Monopolise at the end of 300. At the 600 mark, Unison the leader. A half length to West Point. Headstrong about to go up 3 deep. Stork on the fence. Dashing Eagle is tracking them into the straight, followed by King Ivor. Monopolise getting up on the inside of Flak Jacket as they turn for home. Straightening up in Unison as the leader. West Point in second place under heavy pressure. Headstrong on the outside, but the mare kicked Unison. Unison 2 in front as they come to the 200 mark. Monopolise in trouble back on the fence. Stumbled badly there. Unison clear with 100 to go. Now King Ivor coming out of the pack with Dashing Eagle and Flak Jacket. Unison in front. Look at King Ivor. King Ivor gobbling up Unison, and King Ivor got up on the line to beat Unison about a long head or a half neck. Flak Jacket, I think, might nose Dashing Eagle out of third money. Monopolise stumbled. Yeah, nice and fresh. Winner of the Sandown Guineas last year. King Ivor was able to sprint brilliantly for Jimmy Cassidy. There were 2 or 3 very good runs in the race, Simon. And Monopolise, of course, was lucky to stay on his feet. And that was a welcome return to race riding for champion jockey Wayne Harrison. What a baptism of fire. Wayne joins us live from Royal Randwick Racecourse. Wayne, thanks for being with us on the racing show. And I'll bet you breathed a sigh of relief when he stumbled back to his feet again.
Yeah, firstly, thanks, John, for welcoming me. And it was great to just get back into the enclosure in one piece. It wasn't the welcome back that I was expecting, but the jockeys are pretty hard and tough these days.
Could you see that coming, Wayne?
Well, the run was always there for me, and I think that was pointed out when Corey Brown was suspended. But how the horse stood up, I don't know. And just to his own credit, he got going again and ran a respectable 5th, and would have been right in the finish, as it turns out.
Now, here's the head-on, Wayne, which graphically illustrates the way Monopolise sprawled and had to struggle back to his feet. Now, from a trainer's viewpoint, you know, the fear of a shoulder injury or a back injury when they bubble like that is ever present. Do you know if they've checked him out this morning? Is the horse okay?
Yeah, he's a bit bruised and battered like me. He's got a few marks on him and a few cuts, but he's a tough horse. He'll come through it, and you know, it's a credit to him. He showed how game he was. I got going again and got up inside Shane to run 5th, so he's a very gutsy horse, but he just cut about a bit today. Yeah,
Shane rode West Point in the race. Disappointing, Shane?
Yes, he was, John. There was no excuse for him. He had a lovely run in the race and had every chance. I thought Dashing Eagle would sprint a little bit better, but she just grinded the last bit, John, and she's probably looking for a bit further. But I was slightly disappointed in her run.
Wayne, it's been a really long break. How did you feel in those starting gates yesterday? Your first ride back, a high-profile ride of Monopolise, and obviously some great support coming from the family with the Beggs owning Monopolise, training Monopolise, I should say. How did you actually feel in the tummy before you jumped?
I was actually it's a funny thing to say, but I've had the flu and pneumonia, and probably kept the butterflies away a bit. It wasn't until I was driving to the races that I realised that what a big day it was. And Monopolise was actually brought forward 2 weeks in his preparation to run, and my actual comeback ride was supposed to be Dance Beat, and he's gone to Moonee Valley and won. So, you know, it just wasn't my day, but I was still there smiling about it last night.
With Kenny Callender in Melbourne yesterday for the Nine Network, eminent Sydney racing writer Murray Bell from the Sydney Telly Mirror conducted our post-race interviews after the Premier Stakes.
Jim, you really took the patient attitude here, but you looked like you had something there a long way from home.
I was probably a little bit surprised that I travelled as good early in the run as I did, Murray, and like I had the favourite outside me, Dashing Eagle, and they were running along a little bit up front. But then again, I just kept going back to when he beat Millward at Randwick when he won first up early in January, and I think a lot of people forgot about that effort because he broke 110 that day, carried 58, and it was the only time the 3-year-old was defeated. So when you take a line through that form, it was he had a good hope in today's race.
Glenn Boss, you look to be travelling very sweetly coming to the home turn. What happened after that?
Yeah, she had a lovely run throughout the race, and on the home turn you could have just put your house on the way she travelled in the run. She's at the end of the run, after she'd come back to the enclosure, you could see that she had knocked up. She was quite big across the loins, and she was blowing quite excessively. So, one thing about this mare now, she's matured greatly mentally. She's looking to stay this time in, and I think from now on she'll just keep improving, and I dare say you'd be looking for her not to get beaten from here on. I think she'll improve that much.
Gay, what did you think of West Point's performance today?
I would have to say it was disappointing. I thought the horse could win the race. I thought that he was very well placed in the Premier Stakes. He showed good early speed, travelling just behind Unison, but we failed to run on. I don't know if it was lack of condition. I don't know what it was.
And a few punters feeling the same way about West Point's failure yesterday. Well, the last race at Rosehill Gardens was more like a demolition derby than a horse race. The horse that was first past the post, the Rand, that's the chestnut with the big baldy face, hung a left about 100 metres out. He must have shifted 10 or 12 horses. He flattened Victoria Park, he flattened In Square, and Obsessed on the outside got the chain reaction. The Rand actually hit the line in front of Obsessed. The protest, Victoria Park against the winner, was upheld, which negated the protest second against first. Shane, that old horse, the Rand, has had a couple of bowed tendons. He must be feeling his pins.
Yeah, he probably is, John, but I think the stewards got this right, because with Victoria Park, it cost him probably 3 or 4 lengths, but there was no way Victoria Park was going to beat the Rand home. But that doesn't matter in a protest. It's how much ground you actually cost that horse, and I think it cost him about 4 lengths what the Rand did, so I believe the stewards got it right.
OK, Simon, have a look at this little fellow, a horse called Adam, a son of Rubiton, coming again to win this 3-year-old race yesterday. He was well and truly headed by Elusive Spy in the centre. Now, his Shane on the outside on Noble Challenge, which looked as though it would just explode when Shane Dye released the ribbons. But Shane, he must have been in need of the run, was he?
Yeah, he was very big in condition yesterday and really needed the run. And I was trying to hold him up for as long as possible because I knew he'd knock up, and that's what happened. He's a lovely horse, Noble Challenge, and he'll improve a lot from that run.
Gutsy win.
Yeah, it certainly was a gutsy win, and I'll tell you another horse that that's had many a gutsy win over the years is All Our Mob. We can make quick mention of. Now been retired, and we won't see him again grace the turf, which is going to be a pity. But Simon Marshall said a very interesting thing yesterday. He said he'll be the best pony club horse around because he's such a gentleman. There'll be kids riding on him in the next couple of weeks.
There'll be a queue a mile long to get him for Pony Club. Wayne, you had a bit of luck with All Our Mob. You won a Newmarket and a Turnbull Stakes on the horse.
Yeah, he's a great horse to me, and he was a gentleman, and it didn't matter what distance or what direction he was going, he was always competitive. He was probably a length back off what we were calling our champion horses, and it's probably a bit unfortunate that way, and he beat them a lot of times, but he was beaten by them. But what a great horse, and I'm going to miss him sorely.
Good on you, Wayne. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back, and many winners. Shane, stand by. We'll be back with you a little later. Let's go to break with yesterday's Grey Spectacular at Rosehill.
The corner now, 400 out in the Grey Stars, and it's Grey Shock and Tony's Hope. Spy Keller coming after them quickly, followed by Cantoa, Misty Jude, Carolina Kid. Right down the outside is White Queen, and Purist is hopelessly bailed up for a run. He's climbing all over them. He can't go anywhere. It's Grey Shock. Here comes Vain Naribo. Carolina Kid is bursting through in the centre. Purist is out now, but half an hour too late. Vain Naribo wins the Grey Stars over Carolina Kid. Third eye, the Grey Shock or the first. Now, Snow Beauty, Lady Covetous and Silencia on the outside is running a big race. Past the 200, Snow Beauty again got clear of Lady Covetous and Silencia, and Talaria Lass from a long way back, but Snow Beauty is far too good. She's in no danger and coasted over the line to beat Lady Covetous with Silencia third. Close up Talaria Lass.
You're probably wondering what the heck that was all about. That was the first race at Canterbury last Wednesday, a 3-year-old fillies race. That's a Danehill filly that Bart Cummings has really taken his time with, Snow Beauty.
Whatever's by Danehill can run, by the looks of it, isn't it? And typical sort of Danehill, white star on the face, but and a big, long, strong filly by the looks of it. So no wonder it took a little bit of time. We'll keep our eye out.
She was carrying a bit of pudding too, I can tell you.
She looked that way.
I think she'll win far better races than that one. Falante, one of the big guns of last spring, contested his second barrier trial at Rosehill Gardens last Tuesday morning, and he showed a good deal of nip here to beat his stablemate Might and Power. Now here's Falante in the white colours, 3 horses out from the fence, about to go up to these leaders, and he's clicked up here now, Simon, and he just goes whoosh and leaves them standing.
Yeah, it's a bit of the old Falante here, isn't it? And you can see that acceleration was back again in the Jeff and Beryl white colours. Look, it's an exciting time of year, and horses like Falante doing that in a barrier trial, particularly for the owners and obviously the trainers and the general public now to see that we can be excited that the great horse has found form again.
I'll say, Shane, he's running in the Warwick Stakes next Saturday against Ebony Grove, Magic of Sydney and Juggler, just to name a few.
It's going to be a fantastic race. Juggler's going very well at Randwick, and so is Magic of Sydney. He was very disappointing first up. I don't know what went wrong, so I can only hope that he improves a lot. He seems all right. But watch for Emery Grove. He's flying at present. He trialled it on Friday at Randwick, and he's going to be hard to beat in a race like the Cox Plate later on.
Right, and Larry Cassidy rides him next Saturday?
Yeah, Larry will ride him because I've got a commitment to Magic of Sydney for this race.
Simon, somebody was telling me there was a pretty impressive winner in the last race in Adelaide yesterday.
Certainly was. It's going to be my horse to watch later on in the show, but just mentioning it now, a horse called Darrahim from the Peter Hayes stable, and believe it or not, John, it's by Danehill, another Danehill, but it was having its first start yesterday, was ultra impressive. It hung in, it was green as grass, but it really flew home, and it could be a horse that we can just put a little asterisk next to in the black book and say we'll watch it next time it comes out. And talking of Adelaide yesterday, there was a listed race in Adelaide yesterday, the Wiley Handicap, and as we go to the break, let's take a look at it.
In the straight, Red Hope's after Paddington End. He's cuddling Paddington End whilst he's riding quite busily on Red Hope. Paddington End on the inside is the leader from Red Hope. Wider out in the track, Mine Gold tries hard. Paddington End in front. He looks like he's going to hang on. Here's one flying. Port Watch on the rail. Paddington End back-to-back Wileys. Port Watch was a huge run second. Don't know about third.
Okie dokie, we're coming into the home stretch on the racing show. Shane Dye waiting at Randwick has got quite a few rides today. What's your best?
John, I've got Ray Murray standing right behind me, and he's told me I'm not allowed to tip today, but I've got chances all day, so follow me.
OK, Shane, thanks for being with us. Simon, your best.
Race 7, number 3, Red Carson in Melbourne.
Let's see what Kenny Callender fancies today. Ken likes Zebellino running in race 3. I like Sarjep, which is running in race 2 at Royal Randwick. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.